Let's talk now about yesterday's big special session on rent assistance. And when we went on the air last night, lawmakers were still weighing some items. So here's a recap of what they ended up passing. In short, everything they were considering got the stamp of approval. Renters waiting for assistance now have a longer safe harbor. If you apply for aid before the end of June 2022, you are protected from eviction until October 1st, 2022. Lawmakers also passed a huge funding package with $215 million for rent relief, and that includes $100 million for a landlord compensation fund. They allocated $100 million for drought relief for farmers and agricultural workers who lost wages to severe weather like the heat wave, and $25 million to help local law enforcement agencies stop illegal cannabis operations. Then there was a smaller, lesser-known funding item kind of squeezed in there. The Oregon State Legislature also set aside $18 million to help resettle refugees from Afghanistan. And it got us wondering, why $18 million? Well, back in September, this is why we wondered it, we reported the state of Oregon was anticipating the arrival of 180 Afghan refugees. $18 million for 180 refugees works out to about $100,000 per person. So we asked, again, why that figure? Well, here's the update. In short, Representative Confam says the number of Afghan refugees in Oregon that we're taking in and we plan to take in as a state has gone way up. And keep in mind while you listen to her, Pham is the daughter of refugees herself. Her parents came here after the Vietnam War.
Oregon has accepted about 2% of the national pool of refugees, which given 60,000 refugees on U.S. military bases, we're expecting for this federal fiscal year about 1,200 Afghan refugees to be resettled. And so we took those numbers and we took those needs and went to our resettlement providers as well as legal service providers to figure out what it would really take to provide critical assistance, at least in this first year. And we do believe that we have a moral responsibility to help the people who put their lives on the line in Afghanistan for us. And so we're really excited that Oregon has now upped its expectations, and we are, as I was mentioning, expecting, again, 2% or about 1,200 refugees over the next federal fiscal year.
So from 180 to 1,200. And the money, that $18 million, will go to about half a dozen Oregon agencies with contracts to help refugees resettle here. And one of them is Lutheran Community Services Northwest. So we asked the regional director what they'll spend that $18 million on.
If I could just look at this list: short-term food and shelter, case management services, and the legal services as well, because these evacuees, Afghan evacuees, unfortunately come to the country just paroled into the country. It means legally they have entered the country, but they have no legal status. And for them, the process of applying for political asylum or other means would be incredibly a long process that may take several months to a year or so.
So we've got much more on yesterday's special session at kgw.com.